You know how you see all these videos on social media about animals being adopted, mostly it's dogs, and how happy they are. They just are transformed immediately and they're so happy to be going home with their new person. They're really sweet. They're just, tear jerkers, but it's not always the case. And actually it's kind of often not the case. The numbers of returned animals after they're adopted from a shelter, rescued from a shelter, 15 to 20% of them are returned. Now, there could be a lot of reasons, finances, for example, if it's down the road that they're returned, but a lot of them are returned kind of quickly. And this is a pet peeve of mine, not that they're returned, but that the people weren't prepared for the fact that animals aren't like, oh, yippee, I'm going somewhere when they're traumatized animals. And, most of the animals in shelters have been traumatized in some way. Their humans gave them up. Either the humans died or moved and weren't able to take them with them for whatever reason, or the animal, was misbehaving. That happens a lot. People don't know how to train them, or they're not aware of the animal's trauma and they don't know how to deal with it. And so they end up in a shelter. And if that isn't addressed, whatever it was, they end up back in the shelter. So I just want to suggest something to you. And have you suggested to your local shelter? As an animal communicator, I work with a lot of traumatized animals, a lot of traumatized animals, some of whom recently adopted and just can't adjust to the household. They don't understand the rules, or they're not socialized, or they're just so traumatized that they shut down. I have one of those. He's not like that anymore, but that's how he came to me. He's crying right now when I said that. He's right here. My little Ziggy dog is right here. No, I know you're fine now. So, so I like to suggest that if people are going to adopt an animal, that they hire a communicator to speak with the animal first and find out her or his need, the animal's needs, the fears, where they came from. Often they end up in shelters and doesn't people don't know where they came from, or what they've been through, or what's going on, or any questions that they have. And a communicator can also like explain to them the house, what it's going to look like. If you ask the client for that, what the house looks like, and where your bed's going to be, and when your meals are, and what your some animals really need that, the routine. So I just really strongly suggest that you do that, because it's not always, oh, yay, I'm coming home and everything's going to be perfect. It's not. Think of a child, not an infant who may not have memories, but a 2, 3, 4, 5 year old or older who's coming into a new home and doesn't know, 2, 3, 4 year old who doesn't have much language yet and comes into a home. I mean, so I was going to tell you a couple stories, but I don't want to take forever here. That's just a suggestion that you do that you enlist the services of a communicator so that you can learn more about your animal, but so the animal can learn about the situation they're walking into. I worked with a friend's horse. I'm remembering this one years and years and years ago because she had me speak to the horse before she moved him, which is unusual. Usually I talk to the animals after they've already come to the new home and there's issues. But she was getting a new horse and she had me speak to the horse. And I told him about the barn he was going to be moving to, and he was very concerned about food. And I speak to an animal by myself, and I'm sharing my Reiki hands too. So I get the questions from the human ahead of time. I'm not on the phone with the human, I'm totally focused on the animal. He was asking about food, and I didn't know. So I called her while I was speaking to the horse from a distance and asked her what he's really concerned about food. Was he starved? What's going on? So she was able to tell me what he would be eating and how often, and he would be living outside, and and he calmed down and he was fine, and the transition was fairly smooth. Other ones, I had a client once years ago that I needed to speak with her horse. It wasn't a rescue, but similar situation with the horse, who never could Trailer, well, wouldn't get into the trailer, especially with men. Apparently may have had a bad experience with men at some point. It was impossible to trailer, and she was moving him, still with her, but moving him to another place. And so I spoke with him, told him that he was moving, where he was moving, why he was moving, that she would still be there, explained the man who would be helping him onto the trip, the whole bit, explained the transition, and he was fine. I was even kind of surprised. She said it was absolutely flawless. Got into the trailer, got off, it was completely fine, no problems. So I have a bazillion stories about kitties who move into a house and there's other kitties and they don't know the social structure, the hierarchy, and there's trouble. And when I can go in and explain it by talking to all the kitties and find, oh, you're in charge. Oh, that's what's, oh, you, this is what you did. And explain, may sound a little crazy, but I'm telling you, explain, this is where you fit here and this is what you need to, and this is, and it, I have never had a problem not be solved that way. So just want to plant that in your brain. If you're getting ready to adopt an animal, if you're thinking about it, really consider um, enlisting the services of an animal communicator to help you and your animal out. And if you're moving, same thing with moving. It's a big transition. If you're moving your animal, they don't, where am I going? Are you going to still be there? You know, that kind of thing. It's also very helpful for everybody to just explain what's going on to your animal. So that's my tip for the day. And I'll be telling you stories. I love telling stories. So there'll be more specific stories as we go on. And I'm Pam Sorellis of Winged Horse Healing, and I do Reiki, animal communication, and some body work, neuromuscular retraining. And if you'd like to chat with me about how I could help your animal, you can drop a note below or go onto my website and contact me through the site at wingedhorsehealing.com. And I'd be happy to talk to you. Take care.